and we saw this large figure between two redwood trees, and it was massive. And we looked and looked, and like the cryptozoologist I was with had never had a Bigfoot sighting before, and had been in cryptozoology for like 30 years. So this was his first sighting, and we looked up, and the sun was behind the creature, so we saw the silhouette. And so my friend, who's also First Nation, she raised her hand up to wave like this. So she went up to wave her hand up like this to wave at it, and the creature replicated the wave like this, and we could see the hair off of the arm. And this thing had, we went later and measured, and the creature was well over 8 feet tall. So when the creature raised its hand like this, everybody could see that this was not a person, and could see that. And so this is the afternoon, so it's like 4:30, 5 o'clock. So it's getting dusk, and we figured, oh, we can't leave. We've got to. So we made phone calls to bring in people that had equipment, because all we were just sightseeing, And we pick up the phone. We call his friend, who is a big Sasquatch researcher in this area, and we said we can't go up the mountain because we don't have the right car, and we need equipment. We need a flare. We need flare. We need different things. And the guy says, Zach said, I'll be right there. So later that afternoon, I think we went back and got food someplace, and we came back and met him. Then we went back up the mountain. The snow was too deep, so we finally took the truck and came back down the mountain. And this, of course, it's dark now. And we pull the truck up right against the yellow gate where we had the sign, where it had been locked off. And he said, so he took his flare, and we shined it up where we had the afternoon sighting, and lo and behold, the creature came back. And so at this point, we're all now, having seen it visually in the afternoon, we're now all looking through the finder of the flare to verify. And this thing had come back down the mountain, where almost where it had stood before, excuse me, and was looking through the trees again at us, and then was kind of doing the rocking back and forth thing, and then came back down, went behind a rock, a boulder, and was kind of peeking and tearing, and then would go back up a little bit, come back down. And it did this for a while, and finally we lost sight of it. We couldn't get it on flare anymore. And then we saw small rodents and things under the rock pile, which we initially thought were eye shine, but it wasn't. It was just like mice and whatever. And that was the sighting. So that is 4 people who had a visual encounter, and then we had the flare, and we were there for hours, even after we couldn't get the creature, and we were calling out, we were doing calls, trying to get a response, doing different things, and finally, the activity died down, and we left. And then the next day we came back, and we found a trackway, and we were able to cast, I believe it was 3 to 4 17.5-inch casts. And we measured it. We made very clear casts. And then we called Tom Steenberg, who we had visited earlier, a day before. We had visited Tom. We called him up, and he was sort of the Canadian equivalent of the BFRO. So essentially, Tom took our stories. He interviewed all of us. In fact, when I came back from Canada, he called me in my home here in Maryland and interviewed me again. And then, he took pictures of the cast. I still have pictures of the casts. And had seen the flare footage as well. But the flare footage has never been released. And it's some of the clearest I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen other flares from other researchers, but what we got was fairly clear, and it's unmistakably, it wasn't a human. It was a Sasquatch. Probably, obviously you can't make scale of gender or of age, but this thing, the track was 17.5 inches, and it was about almost 5 inches wide. So that is a huge track. So we're assuming it was probably an adult male. We think possibly, but I mean, to have that many eyewitnesses see this, then to get that kind of physical evidence is extremely rare. And that was my 2017 encounter.